Thank you for listening to this podcast from TRE, Talk Radio Europe, your voice in Spain and around the world. For more information, please visit tre.radio.
Okay, heading over to Mark now. He's waiting in the wings. Mark is in Ireland and he's bringing his usual Monday sports roundup. Morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very good indeed. Very good. One of my favourite times of the year for lots of reasons. I do like Christmas, but also, of course, football. Lots of football on, so that's great. In Spain, though, they actually have a break now till I think early January, which I don't like that idea. I like the bit of football over Christmas. What about you?
I think the players probably very much like it, but I'm like you. For me, Christmas isn't complete without a bit of football and darts. It's just the way it is.
I was explaining to my wife, who's moved from England when she was 8 years of age, the Boxing Day tradition of going to the football is a thing. I don't know what it's like in Ireland, but in the UK, I spent many a Boxing Day watching Derby play. So, A very disappointing Boxing Day quite often as well, but nonetheless we enjoyed it anyway.
It's the habit of going there. It's the feeling you have amongst other fans, and all that just soaks together to give you a great experience, no matter what the score is.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look anyway, Mark, at the Premier League. And I don't know how many matches you want to cover here, but maybe let's go for the latest one, which was yesterday, Aston Villa, Manchester United. After Man United's Monday night saga, this was quite another good match. Yeah,
it was. I mean, Villa were just strong, and I mean, Morgan Rogers, just two amazing goals.
Yes.
Is the only way to do it. Villa just came out, they were strong, they were aggressive, and honestly, they deserved that win. I didn't really see Man United do anything that I think was particularly brilliant. They were just sloppy defensively. They really lacked control in midfield. Another match with Mainu out of the squad. I believe this time was because he had a quote-unquote small injury in training. So, yeah, I mean, it's obviously more bad news for Man United fans. They're still sitting in 7th. It's only 1 loss in 5. So it's not terrible, but the real, I think, talking point from this match isn't about Man United at all. It's about Villa. They're really looking like genuine contenders. They're 3 points off the title now, and while the title is a very ambitious goal, the more important thing is Champions League football. If they're genuine contenders for that, especially for a club like them, that's a game changer, because that's a lot more money coming in.
Absolutely.
That can be spent in the right areas.
And Morgan Rogers definitely got to be in contention now for the World Cup for England. Just what a player he is. He's
struggled at the start, much like Villa did, to really make an impact, but he's just hitting the ground running right now. He's just doing everything right.
Absolutely. Okay. We talked about the title race. Manchester City have really hit form, haven't they? And just Ireland's on form, and he's just a machine.
I believe he's currently sitting top goal scorer in the Premier League with 19 goals.
Yeah.
The next person, I think, Igor Thiago for Brentford is on 11. So he's just skyrocketing above everyone else. But it was another 3-0 win for Man City. It almost looked routine from them. It was just that controlled. West Ham never really got into the match, never really challenged them too much, and this certainly felt like champions doing champions things almost. It was City shifting gears, and especially, we'll talk about the Arsenal match next against Everton and how different that looked. Even though they were also dominant, but it just looked completely different at how City were playing against West Ham.
And City looked like City evolved, didn't they, a little bit?
Yeah, they did. So I was really impressed from them, and certainly it's making it interesting, because we're kind of at the halfway point now. We're 17 matches in, so we're starting to make more judgments, and even if you just look at the last 5, both City and Villa are 5-5, where Arsenal have just, they've sort of made it harder for themselves at some points, which I guess isn't necessarily a bad thing. They're still ahead, they're still in the best position, but I would think City probably are looking more favourably at themselves, because it's better to be the hunter than the hunted.
Yeah.
And I think that's very much the way the City team is playing.
And going to the Arsenal then, I watched a little bit. I was with a friend on Saturday night watching the Arsenal match, Everton, and we were actually rooting for Everton because we didn't want Arsenal to win. He's a Chelsea fan. But I don't know, Everton, I thought had some really good opportunities, played well, but it was an undoing of a penalty that really was the difference in the match. Arsenal did have quite a lot of possession, but I wasn't convinced by them.
Yeah, I mean, if we place Everton versus West Ham, Everton are having a much better season, sitting at 10th. But I think you're absolutely correct. Going back to the City match, it was a spectacular performance from them. Where if I was to describe the Arsenal match, I'd say it was an efficient performance from Arsenal. They were certainly controlled. They were professional. But it felt like a win they had to grind out. And, of course, that's how titles stay alive.
Absolutely. That's how you win them, yeah. Because, even when Chelsea won a few years ago on the Mourinho, there was always 1-0 to the Chelsea or whatever, 1-0 to the Arsenal. And those matches are the ones where you have to kind of just, get your 3 points and get the job done.
Yeah. So that's definitely why I'm not discounting what Arsenal are doing.
Yeah.
They're getting the 3 points. It doesn't matter if you score 3 goals or 1 goal. But it certainly just is interesting, the different manner, I suppose, the both of them are going about it. That's what's making this race so interesting at the moment.
Okay, right. Let's do one more Premier League match then. What do you want to go for?
You know what? I'll probably let's go for goals galore. Let's go for Leeds versus Crystal Palace. That was a 5-goal thriller. I was watching that, and what a statement win from Leeds. They've had sort of a slow enough start to the season. A lot of Leeds fans were calling for Farke's head early on, but they had a really good run of form. They got points where they probably shouldn't have got points, and 4-1 against Crystal Palace.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Not bad whatsoever, considering how well Palace have been playing this season. It was just such high energy. Goals seemed to come from everywhere. Calvert-Lewin got in the score sheet, probably a name a lot of people didn't expect to hear again. Palace were just overwhelmed, and once they were 3-0 down, they just never really recovered from that point. It was just so relentless and so fast, and Leeds at home are really becoming a bit of a nightmare, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So Leeds United, well done. It pains me as a Derby fan because there's a bit of banter between Leeds and Derby, but anyway. Let's talk darts then. Any wasps in the area? What's going on with the darts championships? How are they getting on?
I'm loving them. I think they're going great. We've had some real surprises so far. We'll go through, we'll do it the good, the bad, the ugly almost. I think the good so far is the standard's been high. There's been plenty of 100-plus averages. There's been some big checkouts. And really, the early rounds, they haven't felt like early rounds. It's not like these are warm-ups. Players are coming ready, and we'll talk about that, of course, Gerwin match later on, because that was just such a shock. But if I was to describe this tournament in one way, I'd say the youth are just fearless, and that's something I've really enjoyed about darts in the last 2 or 3 years. Is it's just young players are coming on, and they're showing that this is their time. They're ready, and the Ali Pali can be so intimidating. You've got all those electric lights there that are bright colours. You've got this sort of massive crowd that's loud and chaotic. But these young players really seem to know how to feed off that.
Yeah.
We'll look at Littler, and I do want to talk about the mind games that are being played throughout the tournament. But he's just always impressed me how calm and ruthless he looks, and how he uses the crowd. I remember back to a match against him and Humphreys. Humphreys has missed a 170. And then, what did Lillard do right after that? He went and did a 170. He got a 170 just to play mind games with him and fuel the crowd. And how young players are using that is really, really interesting. I guess the bad then would be that the big names are under pressure pretty severely. We'll look at Gerwin Price, who is against Wesley Plazier, who Gerwin Price obviously very, very good. I think a lot of people expected this just to be a routine, but it was definitely, because I believe Wesley Plazier is a forklift driver, and that's his full-time job. So darts is certainly more defined as, I guess, a hobby for him. So no one really expected that this to go any other way than Price's way. But Plaisir just showed zero fear at all. He held his nerve, and Price never really settled, and he ended up going away, taking out one of the best darts players.
Yeah.
Another match I'd probably want to talk about is also Luke Lillard versus Ryan Davies. I thought it was impressive how Lillard controlled that, sort of almost demonstrating what we've all known for a while, which is he has just this control beyond his years. He's a really mature darts player, and Davies definitely tried to apply pressure, but it just didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I've been impressed with Stephen Bunting. He came out. The words I have here are quietly dangerous. He had some strong finishes, some smooth throws. I think this is sort of, he's demonstrating how veterans survive the early rounds. I really like him. I think Luke Humphries has been good.
Yeah,
he's not blowing anyone away, but he's getting through the rounds.
Yeah,
consistent, which is what you need, because we've seen so many throughout the years of really good players falling away early. So that's not the case here. And then I've noticed here as one of my favorite players so far is Motomo Sakai.
Yes.
I just love how energetic that guy is. We've seen an influx of Japanese players and players from all around the world in this tournament because of the expanded numbers, and I've just loved how energetic he is and how calm he is. He's just so much fun. If anyone has any time, look him up on YouTube, how he dances around the stage. This guy he's just absolutely so fun to see, and I'm really, really happy to see all these new faces at the darts World Championship. Fabulous. Because we're just getting to see so much more now.
It's great, and it's great to watch it over Christmas as well. Do you like your snooker, Mark?
I know a little bit about it. Yeah. I would have worked a little bit
as
with
an Irishman. Yeah, Ken Doherty was in the bar with me this week.
Was he?
Yeah, I was in an Irish bar in Frangarella with George. I took my son and we went to play some pool. And I said to George, I'm sure he's a massive professional world champion snooker player sitting over there. And George, George didn't know who it was, but it was, and I just wasn't sure if it was him or not. I didn't want to bother him either. And then I saw a friend of mine bumped into him in another bar and put it on their Facebook page, so it was definitely Ken Doherty. And then he's off to Derby, my hometown, at Boxing Day for the Snooker Legends Championship with a lot of the great legends of the snooker game. So, I thought you'd obviously know him as a fellow Irishman there as well, of Dublin.
I did, yeah. We actually ended up, we worked together briefly on a sports show. So, yeah, I have a great amount of time for Ken. He's just one of those really, really nice and honest people.
Lovely. You seem really good. Right, final one. Talking about dancing around the darts, what about dancing around the boxing ring? Because that's what seemed to be happening with Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua. Jaw broken, Jake Paul, no surprises here. He got a bashing, but also he's pretty loaded. He's been showing off his cash on his private jet. I mean, what would you break your jaw for that amount of money? Maybe 150 million or something he's got for that.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen the internet so happy to see someone's jaw broken. A lot of people, like, I saw this trend on Instagram of people, like, saying, "Oh, I'm having a terrible day," and someone shows them Jake Paul has his jaw broken, and they just dance around, jumping up and down, because he's really not that popular.
He's not, is he? But he's got 150 million, though. I mean,
yeah,
for doing
you need to be popular with that kind of money. I think here's the deal. For Jake Paul, it was a win-win situation from the start. We go back to Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury. The only situation where that comes out for either of them, somewhat bad, is if Tyson loses. Because either way for Francis, if he loses, he's lost to one of the best. And if he wins, he's won against one of the best. And it was the same here. Jake Paul, no matter what happens, if he's lost to one of the best. If he won, it was a different story. And, Anthony Joshua got the job done in 6 rounds. But no one can say that Jake Paul wasn't competitive early. No one could say he wasn't brave. Yeah, he was ultimately outgunned, but he does deserve credit for stepping in with a genuine elite boxer, even if it's 1 or 2 years past the expiry date. But he still showed that toughness and commitment, and that's pretty tough, because Joshua just looked really composed, powerful. I mean, that shot that brought Jake down looked vicious. It looked, I mean, I can understand why so many people are happy, because, that is a shot that would take 5 years, I think, for most people to recover from. But going back to the money, I think it's great for boxing. I think, it brings in a massive global audience. This was on Netflix. I didn't catch it, but there's a lot of people in my life who I thought wouldn't be interested in this at all, but they caught it on Netflix and they really, really enjoyed it. So it was a huge commercial success. For what happens next, I believe Joshua wants to sort of get back in the heavyweight picture. I believe he called out Tyson Fury. And for Jake, I imagine that he's going to go right back at it. I don't see him stopping ever. Right.
Well, you know what? He's got his money. He's on his private jet. And he'll be happy with that. So, wouldn't you? 150
yeah, and I mean, I don't really want to be the one defending Jake Paul, at all. I can't say I've been a massive fan of him throughout his entire internet career, but certainly I think it's a step up to step into a ring with Anthony Joshua. It's a brave thing.
Yeah.
And he's walked away now with a private jet and 150 million. So. Not too bad, not too shabby.
Absolutely. Right. As always, Mark, thank you for all your work this year. Thank you for bringing us up to date with all the sports roundups and so on. It's been brilliant. And we'll be chatting with you again in the new year back on Daybreak with David. Thank you very much, Mark, and a very, very Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Thank you very much, and likewise to yours.
You've been listening to a TRE production. If you've enjoyed this programme, there'll be another episode waiting for you next week, right here on this platform, where you can also access our extensive back catalogue of shows and interviews. For more information on our live programming, social media channels and apps, and how to contact Talk Radio Europe, please visit TRE.radio.